Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jerome. I'm back with a review for Insecure Season 3, Episode 4, titled Fresh Light. So, without further ado, let's get this shit started. What's up? So, the video starts out with, this episode starts out with Issa. You know, she's in her new apartment. She's in her mirror. She's rapping to herself like she always does. And, you know, there's a knock at the door. It's Daniel letting her know that he cannot get in. So, Daniel is actually there to help Issa move into the apartment. And you know, Daniel, while he's helping Issa move into the apartment, Daniel looks like he's completely in his feelings because, you know, Issa has moved out of his place and she's got her own spot. You know, I think Daniel should just admit to Issa how he feels about her and how he might want to try something with Issa, but I don't know if Issa's gonna be too receptive of that because Issa's in a different spot right now than where Daniel is in. And then, you know, Daniel goes back downstairs, he passes Molly, and you know, Molly is helping move as well. So she goes back upstairs with Issa. She's looking around the apartment. She's telling Issa how she likes the apartment and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, they start talking about their lives and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, Molly's talking about what's going on with her at, you know, her new job, how, you know, just everything is not what she planned it to be. She feels like, you know, she's, you know, back with her old law firm again. And I have to agree with Issa. Like, this is a new job for Molly, and I don't know why Molly feels like she should be in one particular spot with this place. I don't get Molly's thinking when it comes to a lot of shit. And then, you know, she's still there. She comes there with some gifts for Issa. I know she had for her a blow-up mattress. I think she had some alcohol for her and something else for her. So now they're sitting down and they're again talking, and you know, they're going through some of Issa's stuff, and you know, they're just trying to declutter Issa's life with getting rid of some of the old shit that she brought from her old apartment that she doesn't need to carry with her and all that kind of stuff. And then there's a knock at the door. Issa goes to the door. It's one of the tenants, and you know, she's telling her about how there are squirrels in her apartment and all that kind of stuff, and Issa needs to come and get those squirrels. Now, when it comes to this apartment manager job that Issa has, I do not see this job lasting very long for Issa because I just don't see Issa being cut out for an apartment manager job. So I don't particularly see this job lasting very long, much like we got y'all. Okay, and then you got Molly. She's at home in her bed by herself, and then you got Flavor Flav on the floor trying to get into bed, and she's like, you're not about to come up here and get into bed with me and all that kind of stuff. But eventually the dog does get in bed with her. And then you move back over to Issa's apartment. Issa is still going through the same stuff that, you know, she and Molly was working on going through earlier in the episode. And, you know, she's determining what to keep and what to get rid of. But she does find her old rap journal, and then she starts going through her old rap journal from when she was in, I think, middle school or something like that. And she's just going over some of the raps that she wrote over the years. And then we move over to Molly. She's at her office. She's in a meeting. You know, they're talking about a case. And, you know, Molly wants so badly to say something, but she got two other co-workers who are putting their input in. And then when the boss asks Molly, you know, do you have anything to say? Molly is like, you know, nah, I agree with what they said. And I'm like, Molly, that was your opportunity right there to, you know, vocalize something and say whatever you want to say. But instead you back down because, you know, these two said something. And, you know, I just really understand why she did that. Like, that was your opportunity to say whatever the hell you want to say and, you know, give your input, your 2 cents, whatever. Like, I didn't understand her when she did that. And then, you know, they start talking about another case. And, you know, she then puts her input in at this time, and it's like, you know, they didn't want to listen to what she was saying. Like, it made no, I don't know. Molly is in her head too much, I think, and, you know, she overthinks things and she overanalyzes a lot of shit, I feel, to me. And, you know, like I said, with that thing, she give her opinion, but her other coworker, the guy that was sitting next to her, he shot it down. And then, you know, she walks up to the other two female co-workers, and, you know, they're telling her not to worry about him and all that kind of stuff. And all that, you know, so I think that those two might be, you know, good for Molly to work with because they seem like, you know, they are, you know, for Molly and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to see how they go. And then over at We Got Y'all, you know, Issa is once again on a computer, and she's looking at that job that she's looking at the career fair that she and Frida went to in the last episode. And then, you know, Frida comes up to Issa, and, you know, she's telling her how, you know, Joanne is like, Issa can go back into the field and all that kind of stuff. because, you know, Frida sat down with Joanne and she had a conversation with Joanne about how instrumental Issa was at the job fair. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember Issa being too instrumental at that job fair, but I guess this is Frida's way of trying to, you know, do something nice for Issa, because I'm like, I don't remember Issa being very, very instrumental, because if I'm remembering correctly, Issa was kind of tuned out when it came to that whole job fair and all that kind of stuff. It was mostly Frida doing all the work and Issa just sitting in the background. So I guess this is Frida's way of trying to, you know, do something nice for Issa. I don't know, but, you know, kudos to that, you know, for Frida getting Issa back into the field, which is what Issa wanted a few episodes ago. I don't know if that's what Issa necessarily wants at this point. All right, then we got Issa. She goes to lunch and, you know, she orders a taco. And then once she gets her taco, she starts to walk and she runs into Nate from the lift that she, when she did the lift party, the party lift and all that kind of stuff. And she drops her taco and then, you know, they go back up to this taco stand. He orders some tacos for him, and then, you know, since he's the reason Issa dropped hers, he orders a taco for Issa. And, you know, while Issa and Nate are talking, she gets a text from Amal asking, you know, where he's telling her he's at Terminal 6, and he's asking her where is she at, and she doesn't respond to the text message. And, you know, like I said, Nate was ordering his tacos, and the guy at the taco stand told him it would be an hour and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, Nate is once again talking about LA, how people are, you know, late and all that kind of stuff, and how, you know, everything takes so long. So, you know, he's like, so what are we gonna, you know, Issa was like, these are some good tacos, like, get it. So he gets the tacos, and he's like, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna go order food to wait while we wait for our food. And, you know, Issa's like, no, she was just, you know, telling him about all the stuff that's in the area and all that kind of stuff. So they go on a tour, and she's showing him Leimert Park and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, he was, when she said that they were gonna walk, he was like, you know, LA people don't like to walk and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, while she's showing him Leimert Park, he tells her he's from Houston and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't see Houston vibes at all, but if that's what y'all want to say, whatever. So he tells her, you know, he likes how she rides for her city, because every time he says something negative about LA, Issa, you know, counteracts that and all that kind of stuff. So he likes how she does that. And, you know, he's talking about how he wants to do things differently since he's in LA from Houston, how he doesn't want to be sitting behind a desk and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, it's just boring for him. So they see a billboard of a realtor, and they call, you know, I think it was Lawrence's friend that he lived with last season. I'm not sure if I'm right about that. If I am, let me know. And, you know, that's when Issa gets a text from Frida. And Frida's talking about, you know, when Issa gets back from lunch to come meet with her so that they can talk about, you know, her next assignment and all that kind of stuff. Okay, then you got Molly. She is at her therapist's office. Molly is sitting with her therapist complaining about everything that's going on at her office. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, like you couldn't pay me enough money to sit here and listen to this bullshit. Because Molly is just complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. And it's the same thing that Molly did with her last job. And, you know, her therapist tells her maybe you just need to focus on how you can help people as opposed to where you rank in the office and all that kind of stuff. And I absolutely agree with that. Like, stop trying to compare yourself to where other people are, and, you know, just think about how can I help you? And if I can help you, maybe that'll make you look at me differently, and maybe that'll make you want to be like, oh, you know what? Molly helped me on this project. She helped me on that project. Do you need help with that? Like, that's your go-to person to go to and get help. Like, Molly just needs to think about other people instead of Molly. And I think that's really her problem, is that she just so focused on, like that, like her therapist said, where she ranks, that she doesn't think about other people in the process. So, I mean, I love the fact that her therapist told her that. And then, you know, Molly is talking about she want to make moves that take her where she wants to go after this whole Dro situation. And her therapist is like, who is Dro? So Nate and Issa, they are still walking around the neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff. And Nate is talking about how the hood in LA is different from the hood in Houston, which I'm not from Houston, but I have been to Houston. But I have to agree with Nate. I can't agree with him because I don't know the hoods in LA. But the hoods here in Texas are completely different from what you see out there in California on TV, pretty much what I have to go by. So she was like, you know what? I dare you to yell out, King Kong ain't got shit on me. So Nate yells out, King Kong ain't got shit on me. And then somebody throws something out there at him. I think it was a Shasta soda. And she told him to, shut his ass up because her baby was trying to sleep and all that kind of stuff. And, he wants to play truth or dare with Issa. So she says truth. And he says truth. He was like, so, when was your last relationship and how long was it? And she tells him it was 5 years ago. And he was like, wow, that's a long time and all that kind of stuff. And then, she tells him that she cheated and all that kind of stuff. And, Issa calls Frida and tells Frida that she's not going to be able to come back in for the day. Basically lying to Frida so she can just, hang out with Nate and, just do whatever. So they go by Issa's old house. And, Issa's telling, Issa's, the old house that Issa lived in, it's a nice ass house. And, they're talking about the house and all that kind of stuff and how her parents split up when she was a teenager. And, they had just got a pool. And she was like, why don't y'all just stay together for us for the pool and all that kind of stuff. So this is where they are still playing truth or dare. And, Nate dares Issa to go break in and, get in the pool and all that kind of stuff. Well, he dares her to break in. So Issa does break in. I'm like, girl, you breaking in broad open daylight at people's houses that you don't know. And I'm pretty positive you might be in a white neighborhood, but if you say so. So, once they go in there, excuse me. Once they go in, they are still playing truth or dare. This time, Issa has a dare for Nate. She dares Nate to jump in the pool. He said, oh, no problem. She says, naked. Again, he says, no problem. He takes off all his clothes and jumps in the pool naked. So then he wants Issa to jump in the pool too as well. And she was like, at first she was hesitant, but then she does it. She was like, when she took her clothes off, she told him to cover his eyes. He didn't cover his eyes. So now they are both in a pool, naked, and they just broke into somebody's backyard. I'm like, this shit's gonna go left very fast. So when they hop into the pool, she's telling him how she has a rap journal and, how she raps in the mirror and all that kind of stuff. And then she asked him when was his last relationship. And, he said he hasn't had anything like hers was with Lawrence. And he said he's been with some women in LA and all that kind of stuff. But, LA is just not. And she was like, but you always trash in LA. He's like, it's not that I hate LA. It's just the fact that LA wasn't what he expected. Because he left Houston after his apartment flooded down there. And, Issa says that, she needs to shake her job and all that kind of stuff. And then, the people who live in that house, you can hear the white man in the house talking about, honey, call the cops. Somebody's broke in. And, they hop out the pool and they start running completely naked. And then so, he wants to know what's so next. Then you are back at Molly's office. And, she's talking to her two female co-workers. And this is where Molly's actually taking the advice from her therapist. And, the two women, they were talking about a case that they're working on. And, Molly walks by and she asks them if they need any help and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, finally, Molly, you're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about somebody else. Like, it's good to just ask people if they need help because, again, that can be beneficial to you because if they see that you're the type of person that'll be like, hey, do you need help? They'll be like, that's somebody that I want to work with. That's somebody that I want on my team and all that kind of stuff. Like, the smallest effort sometimes the smallest thing goes a long way with people. And I don't get how Molly didn't see that before. Like, stop thinking about you and talk about and figure out how you can help other people. And it can work out both ways for you. It can make you go higher in rank and all that kind of stuff. Just stop thinking about yourself so much. So then he got back to Issa and Nate. They go back to get their tacos, but those tacos are cold by this point because they've been gone pretty much all day. So then Issa's like, you know what? I got a microwave in my apartment. We can go back to my apartment. So they go back to her apartment. They eating the tacos, and she gets a text from Kelly. Not Kelly, but Tiffany asking if she's coming to Coachella. And, she tells him about that. And he's like, you going to Coachella? She's like, yeah, Beyonce gonna be there. Cardi's gonna be there. SZA's gonna be there. Like, of course I'm going and all that kind of stuff. And then, Nate leans in to kiss Issa. And then she gets a knock at the door. And she goes to the door and open it. And it's a little boy there. And he like, my mama said you changed the locks on us. And Issa's like, I didn't change the locks. And his mom like, yes, you did. And he said, see. He said, see. And then, the little boy asked him, he said, what y'all doing? Y'all in there kissing and eating tacos? And it was really cute and all that kind of stuff. So Issa closed the door, and, she goes back to Nate, and, they kiss again, talking about they'll hang out again and all that kind of stuff. So she opens the door once again, and the little boy is still there. And, he was like, you still here? He's like, yeah, my mama told me not to leave and just stay here and wait. So, that was a cute scene. Like I said, I don't see Issa lasting very long with this job that she's doing, because I just don't see it fitting Issa. All right, so Molly, she's at her office once again, and she's approached by those 2 female co-workers that she offered to help them on their cases they're working on. So they come up to Molly and ask her, does she want to go out with them for the night? They're meeting up. And then, Molly's talking about how it's not a good, that night was not a good night for her and all that kind of stuff. And then the guy that was in the meeting with her that, was, not being the nicest to Molly, he comes out of his office and, he wants to have a meeting with Molly. And, the other 2 girls are just looking at her like, what the fuck? Like, when he just, coming at you sideways, and, here we are trying to let you help us with our case and all that kind of stuff. And then, we asking you, do you want to meet us? But you turning us down for him. Like, what the fuck? And again, with Molly, like, I think those 2 could be some good allies for Molly, because, they tried to, they were telling her about him when she came out that first meeting. And then, when she went up to them to try to help them on their case, they were, helpful to her. So I think Molly should have said, you know what, I got a meeting with him right now, but, can we reschedule this for another time or something like that? Like, Molly is not playing her surroundings very well at this point. And then we got lastly the scene with Issa. She's at her apartment. She's looking at that trash on her, the stuff on her floor, and she decides that she wants to, get rid of it, trash it. So then we move over to Issa. She's at We Got Y'all. And, Frida comes up to check on Issa, because Issa told her the day before that, she wasn't feeling good and that she wasn't going to come back to work. And Issa really completely forgot what she was even talking about. And then, Frida's telling her about this assignment that Joanne wants her to work on and all that kind of stuff. And, Issa's just sitting there and just thinking and all that kind of stuff, and talking about how, it ain't for her and all that kind of stuff. And then, Issa just decided that she wants to up and quit. And I'm like, finally, Issa, I'm not going to agree with Issa up and quitting her job and not having another job, but I absolutely get it, being stuck at a job that you hate. And she's been there for 5 years, so I definitely get it. You go to work every day, you hate what you do. So it was time for Issa to make a change, because I wanted to do that with my last job. I was there for 3 years. It was draining. I hated going to work every day. I wanted to quit so badly, but I just knew that I couldn't afford to quit, because at this point in my life, it's just solely me. My mom is deceased, so I don't have anybody else that I can depend on. So I definitely get where Issa's coming from, but I don't think she can go to that place that she was at that job fair, because I feel like she would get a job with them. So I'm here for what Issa did. But that was Insecure. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I'm sorry if it was all over the place, but again, just tell me how you guys feel about it.